A stranger saw this dog at a grave covered in blue roses and soon solved a town mystery. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to ring the bell for more. When a stranger spotted a dog near a grave covered in blue roses, she had to stop her car. There was something about the animal's sadness that touched her heart, and when she learned of the canine's tragic story, she understood just why it seemed so mournful. That stranger was Alice Gill, who's nothing short of a committed animal lover. In 2015, in fact, she was even helping animals live better lives through her work with Southern Pup Rescue and Retreat. One particular encounter with a helpless dog, though, made a big impression on her, and it led her on an unexpected quest to boot. On one day towards the end of 2015, Gill was on a county highway when she noticed a seemingly unaccompanied dog. Distressingly, the white shepherd mix was abnormally thin and, to survive, had been searching for food around a graveyard. But as luck would have it, Gill had food to give the poor pooch, and she used this to encourage the animal to come closer. When the dog stepped nearer to Gill, though, she realized that she was hiding a secret. Specifically, Gill could see that the dog had recently given birth, and it was clear to her that she was producing milk. However, her babies were nowhere to be seen. And given that the animal was covered in fleas and ticks, it was also likely that she'd seen better days. Naturally, Gill had no idea how long the dog had been roaming stray, apparently neglected and in need of care. What was more apparent, though, was that she was somewhat wary of the approaching human. Indeed, in a video taken by Gill of her discovery, the dog seems skittish at first when her rescuer approaches. But in the process, Gill knew that she couldn't leave the canine abandoned to an uncertain fate, so the animal lover hatched a plan. All the while aware that she couldn't take the dog without finding her babies first. Without their mom, they'd most likely die. Firstly then, Gill raced home to pick up all the medication she could get her hands on to deal with the parasites distressing the animal. Fortunately, when she returned, she found the dog was still in the graveyard, and with time she grew more accepting of the human interloper. And once she'd fed the dog and given her medication to sort out her ticks and fleas, Gill put into action her quest to find out more about her. So she went to a neighboring house and knocked on the door. The homeowner, Carl, then answered, and Gill proceeded to ask him about the white dog. That's how Gill came to learn about the dog's heartbreaking journey. According to Carl, her owner had died around a month beforehand, shortly before the pooch had given birth, and ever since the animal had visited a pile of blue roses on her human's grave. She spent her days at her grave going back and forth caring for her puppies. Gill explained on Facebook in 2015, "No one knew where the babies were, but Carl directed me to the home of the deceased companion in search of her nephew who had apparently been feeding her when able. So Gill went in search of the nephew of the dog's late owner, and sure enough, after traveling just a mile, she located his home. Unfortunately, though, she met a dead end in her inquiries when no one answered the door. As a result, Gill went back to Carl to see if he'd pass on her contact details. However, in a kind gesture, he instead said that he'd drive around the neighborhood with her in search of the nephew. So once again, she pulled up outside the dog's former home, this time with Carl in tow. This time, instead of knocking, Carl told her to toot her horn. After she did so, the nephew duly appeared. Upon questioning, he revealed that he had no idea where the dog's puppies were, though he did allow Gill to look over the plot in a bid to find them. As Gill drove Carl home, though, the puppies were still missing, and it was only on the route back that they spotted the dog heading towards her den. This, they realized, was their opportunity to find the puppies and bring them and their mom to safety. But before the two began to follow the dog, Gill turned to Carl and asked him to join her in a prayer. And so two strangers, far removed in every way, closed our eyes together and asked for God to lead us to help this family in honor of Miss Carrie, who had passed. She would later reveal on Facebook. After that, the pair slowly tracked the animal dog to her hiding place. In turn, she led them to an old shed from which 3 tiny puppies emerged. They were all hungry and cried out to their mom to be fed. Amazingly, Gill had checked the shed for the puppies earlier but found nothing. She had taught her babies well, she said on Facebook, but once mom was home, the 3 little girls came out of the woodwork, all cries of hunger and pleasure. And now that she'd located them all, Gill could finally bring the dogs to safety. So she took the mom and her puppies into her care. Once there, moreover, she named the mother dog Mama Angel. Her 3 puppies, on the other hand, were dubbed Farah, Kate, and Jacqueline. The happy resolution to the story didn't end there, however, as Gil later found the dogs loving forever homes. Hopefully then none of them will ever know hunger again.